because we had been there, my leg was there like this. I just placed my leg like this in one hole like that. So my leg was in that hole. When he was dragging me from here, it didn't work. He now pulled my leg out from that hole, and my ankle. Imagine when your leg is inside one hole in the car, and then they pull out your leg from here. If you can see, this place is actually swollen. If you can see this thing here, this is from this thing. Let me show you my other leg. You see that it is not swollen. It is not, but this one, I don't know if you can tell, just is swollen here. So I feel so much pain. I regret. I can't even mention him, but if you are in Texas, and you need his name should pop up. His service will pop up, and I would not recommend him. Even people in the car were still saying it when we were going, and he was driving the other car because he had to leave that bus and go drive the other bus, because I said, this is the bus I came with, this is the bus I'm going with. People were still saying that they cannot recommend him. And again, he was charging people different amounts. He will charge you 800, he will charge you 1,000. He will tell you that you will get your visa to next week or 2 weeks time, and then when you get to the Nigerian consulate, they will tell you are getting it the same time, like 2 months time. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is part 3 in my Nigerian passport renewal series in the United States of America. So guys, in today's video, I'm going to be telling you everything, like spilling everything, all the tea, everything that went down in my renewal process using an agent. So what happened was, remember I said in my first video when I talked about my experience, that video, if you have not seen that video, please click on the link here or just check through my channel. So in that video, I talked about how I was calling the Nigerian consulate in Atlanta, Georgia. I was emailing them and nobody was responding to me, and I was worried because I'm an international student. So I felt like if I did not renew my passport exactly 6 months before, I'm in trouble. So nobody was reaching out, responding to me. So I got scared, and so I spoke to my uncle, and my uncle, we now figured out something, and we saw this guy that does this service. So we reached out to him, and he told us he had like, I think 3 plans. One would be he would maybe apply for you and then you go and do it yourself, like you go to the embassy yourself. The other one would be he would apply for you and then you follow him and others, maybe applicants with him to the consulate. So in case I'm saying embassy and consulate, please just understand what I'm saying. And in case I'm mistaking visa, passport for visa, please understand what I'm saying, okay? So yeah, we reached out to him, and he also had another package. I can't remember. Maybe the other package is that he would tell you what to do, like he will not apply for you and then you do it yourself. So those were the 3 packages, and those packages, like each package had its own like price. The highest was the one that I went for, which is the one that required him to do the application. You both of you apply for it, and then you have to go with him to the Nigerian embassy. And the reason why I chose that is because I've heard stories of people using such service or agents like that, and then your passport, you can't find it. Like you give them your passport and the next thing you can't find your passport. So I did not want to be a victim of that. I just wanted to go there myself and see what's going to happen. So it was going to be a road trip. The road trip wasn't exciting for me because I could have, just boarded a flight and I'll be fine and do it myself. But again, I just wanted to protect what I had paid for. What if I was scammed or something? Fortunately, I wasn't scammed, but I think what happened to me was more worse than being scammed. So before we get into the video, I just realized that I haven't even introduced myself. My name is valeenovarah, and I share my experiences here in the United States of America, and I make vlogs as well. So you see a lot of college content, study abroad content, vlogs, lifestyle here and there. So please consider subscribing if you're just seeing me for the first time, and I'll be glad to welcome you to the family. And also you can join my Telegram group. The link is in my description down below. As well, you can join my mailing list because if you're a part of that serial community, you know that you'll be receiving never heard before stories that I do not share on YouTube. So join that mailing list and you get useful resources as well that I do not share on this platform. So moving forward, When we spoke to him, we actually went to his office and we made the payment. From the time we called, even the first day we went there, we had to wait and wait and wait. And you know the Nigerian thing now that you have to, they'll tell you come 5 and you go 5, you get to meet the person maybe 10 p.m., that kind of thing. Or if it's 5 a.m., you get to meet the person 9 a.m., that kind of thing. So we waited and waited, and finally he came, we discussed, and the first day I did not make the payment, I just left. So he just told me what to do and gave me the Zelle account that I should pay to. And I paid I didn't pay that day. So he called me the next time. I was like, oh, why haven't I paid? I'm like, I'll pay the next day. And I paid the next day. So what happened was, after I made my payment, we chose a date. Even in his office right there, he told us about the day that we're going to go. He also did mention that because of the pandemic, the office had shut down. So he told me that we're going to go, was it the first, I can't remember, the 1st of February. I can't remember. I think we went there January. I really cannot remember again, but I'll check my my messages and everything. And if I say any month wrong, I'll just put the actual date on the screen. So when we went there, he chose the first date for us and said either we'll go on a Wednesday or on a Sunday. And finally he said we're going to go on a Wednesday. Before I made the payment, remember that time he called me, I told him, are you sure we're going to go on this date? Because I'm an international student. I just don't know why I was just so worried. But again, I'm like, I just wanted to be sure. Are you sure we're going to go this date? And then he said, yes, I'm going to go. We're all going to go this date, because he had other applicants as well. I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. So I made the payment. So that day he called and said, oh, it's not going to work out again. I'm like, I said it. I wasn't surprised at all, but I was fine. And I remember that time too, he also was like, oh, you can take permission from work, tell them that you're going because, you know, we're going to go. So later he now fixed another date and said we'll go. Was it the 14th or maybe the 10th of February? I can't remember the date, but I'm telling you, this is the second time he chose another date. Okay, so that's like 2 weeks after the first date that we were supposed to go. So I'm like, okay, fine, maybe this time. So I'd already packed my things. I was, you know, in my bag and everything was just normal. Like everything was fine, because I knew it was going to be a road trip from you know, Texas to Atlanta, Georgia. So on that day, I called him, and then he's like, oh, fine, everything will be working. Everything, we're good to go. That is, even at the car rental shop, whatever, that everything will be fine, that we're leaving. I said, no problem. So everything, I had to like reschedule everything. The interviews I had, like job interviews I had to reschedule everything just to ensure that I don't miss out on the trip and everything. Guys, though, like 2 hours later for us to leave, he now called and just said, just guess what he said. You guessed right. He just called and said, oh, we're not going to go again. Like, and the way he said it was what got me worried. The way he just said, oh, they're not going to go again. Weather is bad. They will not give him car again. It just like it was just like full stop. And if it was the first time that he actually made an excuse or told us something like that, I would have understood him. But again, I wasn't even thinking about that too, because it was already hard for me to like even trust his person, being that the first time he didn't keep to his word and all those things. But what really got to me was that he wasn't concerned at all that people have rescheduled or anything. I wasn't thinking that he was lying, you know, but the way he sounded, I just got mad. I'm like, okay, you don't talk to people like this. Have you forgotten that I'm your client? I paid for this. It's not like you're helping me. So why you, at least if you're going to pass on a message that we're not going again, say it in a way that can be soothing. Even if it's weather or anything, just say it in a soothing way, because you know that this is the second time you're doing this. But just, that was it. So he started shouting, who am I? This is that you cannot just be professional for once. So that ended. I was really angry. I was not talking to my friends. But truth be told, that was the week that Texas was like, we had this snowstorm that happened, and it was for like a week, and the weather was bad. Everybody, like, people died. Guys, that has been my worst experience in the United States of America. So it wasn't that he lied, but it's just that the way he passed on the message was totally bad. And he also made me feel like he already knew about it, because why would you call me and say, oh, you're already there, you're about to drive? In fact, I said he was about to drive or something, that we are like, he was giving me ginger. Then maybe 2 hours later, you now say, oh, we're not going again. So I just felt maybe it was one of those antics, but that wasn't my own. My case was, please be considerate of the fact that we are your clients. And imagine, me taking permission from work, or me having to push out my interviews and things like that. So that's what I just felt like he wasn't professional about it. So after that incident that happened, I just said I was not going to call again. I just told my uncle this is what happened. And I just, my uncle said he was going to reach out to him. So fast forward, he now called one certain time and said, oh, how are you? I said, I'm fine, sir. And then he's like, okay, we are now going there. In fact, I should choose any day I want to go. I should just choose any day I want to go there. That's when everybody will go. I'm like, sir, it's not about any day I want to choose that. As far as we're going to actually make the trip, I am fine. I don't just want you to say we're going today, we're not going to, then when is that they will not go again. So this third time, let's just stick to it. So even if they are going on Wednesday, I'm okay. If they are going on Saturday, I'm okay. Any time that they are going, provided the trip will hold, then I'm fine. So it's not about me. I know he was trying to lobby me, that kind of thing, but I wasn't having it, because I wasn't even interested in being lobbied. I just wanted to be sure that the trip would take place. That's what I wanted, because for me, it was more about having my passport renewed, because I just did not want to be in trouble. I don't know why. I just felt like it was going to be, something bad if I didn't. So he now said, okay, he will call other people and get back to me. Finally, he called some persons and then read back and said, oh, this is the day we're going to go. So that was March 3rd. So God so did it, to people of God, we were able to make the trip. So my uncle drove me down to the office. We went there. He told us that we're leaving at 4. I got there like 30 minutes before 4. We waited for this man for over, because my uncle didn't even go to his to the office. I think he went to the office and came back earlier. His plan was that he would drop me off and then go back to the office, but that didn't work out, because we were waiting for uncle. We waited and waited and waited. Finally, when you call him, he tell you he's on his way, he's coming. Nigerian is on his way. I'm on my way, and on your way. You're still on your way. We have gotten to Lagos. So finally he came. And over time, because we're waiting in the car, I could see people waiting here and there, and finally we all saw him. He brought his boss, and then when he brought the boss, he told us that we should come to his office and everything. So we all came and went to his office. So in the office, I don't know why he took us to the office, because there was really no reason why he took us to the office. He was attending to us like we're primary school students. So he will not call you, what is your name? Well, with these forms, we have filled it all. So there was nothing like anything. We have filled all these forms. He will not call your name and your like math number. Professor, the way professors used to do in Nigeria. That's how he was treating us. So we're like, no problem. We'll do all these things as far as we achieve our aim. But his office is upstairs, so imagine climbing upstairs and coming down, even if you are using the elevator, and then having to discover that these are petty things that you could have done earlier. So finally he now called. Before that day, he now told us that we have to pay another money, or $30 or something, that we should bring it again after we have made payment. So fine. And now he now called. So when you now get there, he will now call you one by one, and you go inside another office, inner room. That's the one I call the inner room, the inner office. He will now tell you, hey, nothing. No, he will just now say, okay, bring your $30, the other one, and you give it to him. I later discovered that not everybody paid that money, even though I paid the money. Not everybody that went with me paid. Some persons did not pay because they were just tired. They were like, after all the money I paid for this service, you are still telling me to give you another $30. They didn't pay. But I still paid, because me, I just want my passport. So what happened was, when we now came out, he now told us, even before we went up, he was like, you can take any position in the car. So in the bus, this is where the whole thing started. So you can take any position in the bus, just sit wherever you want to sit. So fine. I chose to sit in the, the front seat, that where the driver sits, so the driver passenger seat. That's where I just put my things there. So when I came back, I just sat down there. So later he now walked down, and then he was like, no, pastor, that I should go to the back. That pastor, I'm like, first he said I should go to the back. I'm like, go to the back, why? Why should I go to the back? Because I'm like, you said everybody can sit anywhere. And besides, it's a service we paid for. It's not like So I'm like, why do you want me to go to the back? So he now said, and our pastor is coming to sit there. So there was a man that was a pastor that went with us. So he now said, okay, that And I was not like, you know, the way we are raised now as the Nigerian that I am. So as he just mentioned, Pastor is sitting there. So I didn't even think it was. I just turned back and I'm like, Pastor, if you want to sit here, of course you can come and sit here. But Pastor was like, no, that there's no problem. So I now said, okay, fine. I did that because if he had said any other person, I wouldn't have even thought of it twice to do that, because there's no reason why you have preference for anybody as to where they are to sit, especially when you had even said earlier that you can sit anywhere. So fine, I went and we started. See, guys, before we started the trip, let me tell you, we had 2 cars. One was a van, then the other one was a normal car. Or maybe let's just say the 2 of them were vans, like bus, whatever. But then he did not come with a driver. Imagine coming with 2 drivers, 2 buses, and then only 1 driver. How the hell will you do something like that? You had people pay you money. People paid you several hundreds of dollars just because of this service. They paid you so much more. You made so much profit from every person here. And then you now go and rent a car without renting a driver. Do you know what he did? One of the applicants, he just came and he was like, you are driving this car. That's what he told the guy. You are driving this car. And I don't know why the person even drove the car, because for me, I wouldn't have, because you cannot bring me here. I'm an applicant, and then you now ask me to come and drive. But the guy, being so kind, even drove the car. So we were there because we were trying to look, first of all, for a driver. So he brought 2 buses without a driver. So imagine me. How do you want me to refer my friend or my family to such place when you don't even think about the safety of your people? What if the people that the applicants don't know how to drive? So that's how we would have wasted our time, even after you had wasted our time from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
And just to chip this in, guys, there was nothing like social distancing that was being, practiced in the bus. No safety measures whatsoever. And even when we asked him about it, he just trivialized it and he was just joking around, and he seemed very unbothered and unworried. He has this I don't care attitude to anything. Like whenever you ask him something that is very important, he just, I remember when he was driving and I was asking him, he was always calling and texting and everything. I was scared for my life because I was the one closest to him. I'd ask him, this thing you're doing is bad, and then he would be like, do you know how long I have been driving? I mean, the people that put the laws, are they stupid? But then I just kept quiet because, again, do I know how long he has been driving? What do you expect? But anyways, let's get back into the video.
But finally we left. Do you know what happened? On the way, the guy that was driving the other car just said something, the car was bad or something. It was later, and so he parked. So we now had to drive back to that place until somebody else now took over from him. It was later he now revealed that it's not that the car was bad or anything. He was just tired and he was feeling sleepy, and he could not continue driving the bus because, again, he was thinking like, I mean, I paid for this service, so why am I playing the role of an applicant and a driver? It's not like you're paying me. What is hard for you to have employed or gotten a driver to drive that bus for the duration or the period that we are going for that trip? He couldn't do that. So finally somebody else took over the bus that we were in, and then he went to drive the other bus. Long story, if you see why this is so bad, because we were just missing our way left, right, and center. This person will drive to that place, that person will drive to that place. They will be calling, he will be on the phone calling the other person, where are you, where are you? When you tell him that, oh, this call that you are doing is really very unsafe. So assuming he was an actual driver, you wouldn't have been asking the person calling, because it was really unsafe. And then he was saying, oh, do I know how many years he has been driving? I'm like, no wahala, so far, drive me safe and carry me to my destination. So finally, long story short, we were able to get to our destination. And that night, because we slept now, they just stopped us somewhere, and then we had to like shower, and we didn't shower, sorry, just change. So I changed what I was wearing. People came down and then they changed what they were wearing. And then when we arrived, he just took all of our files and things, and he had like somebody else at the Nigerian consulate. So he now gave our things to the person, and that was it. So I don't want to talk about the things that happened there, but when that happened, when we were going back, he dropped somewhere for people to eat. Some people did not buy the food I mentioned in my other video. Remember I said the pastor brought food to sell? So some people did not eat, maybe because they were either being captured or something. And by the time they came out, the food was done. Or some people were not just interested because to them it was pricey. So some people did not eat. And some people just wanted maybe something else to eat. So he dropped somewhere, and he was going to allow somebody people to eat. So I was in the bus. I didn't stand because I'm not this person that buys so many things on my way. And again, I had this friend in the car. He would be like, oh, do you want this? Do you want this? So I wasn't really hungry. And besides, I had already eaten at the Nigerian consulate, so I was fine. But later, I was talking to my friend on the phone, and then I just said I should stretch my legs. So as I was walking out again, we had stayed there for over 30 minutes or so. People were already eating. So after like 30 minutes of us being there, I just said, let me stretch my legs. And then as I walked out, he just saw me again. Then he was like, you will go to the back. I'm not like, why? I'm not going to the back. I just felt like this thing is becoming too, I didn't, if not play, make it end. So let me just, maybe you understand this, what I'm saying. Because I was now feeling like, I just did not like the way he sounded. I know when I'm being played with, but it just, this, you must go to the back or something, was not looking like, Oga, if not play, I beg, stop him. So in my mind, I just like, so Oga, I'm not going to the back. Why would you ask me to go to the back? And then it's like, we'll see now. So finally, I now walked back to the car, and then I sat down. So when he came, I had my backpack that had like my duvet, my jacket, my cardigan inside of it. So I kept it there. So usually I keep it in between the driver's seat and my seat. I remember when we were going, he complained about it and said I should go and put it in the boot, whatever you people call it, the trunk or whatever. But if you're a Nigerian, you understand what it means. I should keep it in the boot. So I said no, I wasn't going to keep it in the boot because I had my duvet. Imagine when it's cold late in the night, there will not be stopped, that I cannot be going to the back to take it, and I put it in front of my leg, so I was fine. So but when he dropped the cans and went to take the other car, when that guy said he was tired, somebody else was driving the car, and another person behind me, there was a lady behind me that still put her bag, even though my bag was a little bit bigger, that still put, I vlogged the whole thing, so when I drop the vlog, you people will see it. So she also does put her bag there sometimes when she's tired, because she was also carrying her own, she didn't want to put it at the back. So sometimes me too, I'll put it there. The guy that drove the car after he left, we not get issue, nothing happened, everybody was fine. So that time now that we're now leaving from that place that we're eating, he just sat down, and then he's like, oh, this bag again, you will not remove this bag. I'm like, Oga, remove which bag? Why is it that you are the only one complaining about this bag? And then he's like, in fact, I'm going to the back. I'm like, it cannot happen. You cannot take me to the back. You don't have the right. And then it's like, so he now got angry. What? He just came down from the car. This one I'm telling you. And I already took the bag to the front, to my front. So because he said, oh, I should remove it, but that I'm going to, but I'm not like, it will not happen. It can't happen. So he now stepped down from his car, and then he came to, and already I had my seatbelt on. So he now came, opened the door, and then my leg was, guys, as I'm talking to you, I have been having, my ankle has been paining me for, imagine a trip we went for in March 3rd to be precise. This is, March what? This is about a month, and that leg is still paining me. This man dragged my leg. If I tell you the way he dragged my leg, imagine somebody that had seat belt on and somebody is dragging you out of that seat, and my leg was in, all this, like the vault where you put your my leg, because we had been there, my leg was there like this. I just placed my leg like this in one hole like that, so my leg was in that hole. When he was dragging me from here, it didn't work. He now pulled my leg out from that hole, and my ankle, imagine when your leg is inside one hole in the car, and then they pull out your leg from here. If you can see, this place is actually swollen. If you can see this thing here, this is from this thing. Let me show you my other leg. You see that it is not swollen, it is not, but this one, I don't know if you can tell, just is swollen here. So I feel so much pain there. So he dragged me. So when this man was physically attacking me, I just could not take it anymore. I just had to push him away. I was like, what is this? Because I was thinking, this man, he was ready, and I was wearing this dress, very, this kind of a ladylike dress. I didn't wear a jeans. So imagine if he had done it harder, I would have gone naked. So I was like, please, I just had to, because that was the only thing, because I was still being held by the what is it called? I was still being held by the seat belt. I just had to push it because I didn't know what else to do. Imagine somebody that my safety is in his hands doing that to me. Somebody that is I'm a client of his doing that to me. So he now said that my battery is almost dying. So he now said that I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to go with them in the car. I must come down. So people in the bus were already shouting. Some were saying that I was rude to have said that. I'm like, you people will say I was rude. Let's now assume that I was rude. How was I rude? I was rude because I told him that he cannot ask me to stay back. What is his right asking me to stay back? This is not the first time he has said. The first, second, and third time, some were saying, oh, he was joking. I'm like, what kind of joke is that? Okay, let's now say you were joking. I don't feel like it was a joke anymore. I was feeling like it was intimidating me because he's the one that rented the car. Mind you, everybody paid the same amount. Everybody paid for this service, so it's not free. So why are you not asking anybody in the front or the people behind to change positions? Why me? Why are you singling me out? Is there something wrong? And then what is the rudeness there? Because I said that you cannot send me to the back, and that's the truth. You cannot send me to the back because you are not doing me a favor. So assuming that the rudeness, let's now assume that was the rudeness that you people are talking about. Is the rudeness enough for him to physically harass and attack me in the bus in that manner? Because if you're talking, you'll be talking as if maybe you don't have a sister or you don't have a mother or you don't have somebody. Will an elderly man do something like that to you or to your sister and you will take it? Because you want people to respect you, but you don't respect yourselves. So he was not like, no, we're not going again, nothing, that I must leave. He would drop me. I'm like, I paid for this and I will go. I paid for this and I will go. And I did not do anything wrong to you. So finally, it was true. Now when people were not talking to him, one guy now came, I was trying to tell me that I should leave the car. I'm like, oh, guy, you see this car? For this thing that he has done, I'm not leaving. It's either him will leave this car or all of us will stay here. We're not going. I'm not leaving anywhere. I'm staying in this car. This is where I stayed when I was coming, and this is where I'm staying when we're going back. That's what happened to everybody. Nobody changed position, so it doesn't have to be me. So the guy now left. Then he now went to the back. The driver now went to the back. That's when I'm talking about the driver. The driver is the same agent that we use. So he now went and finally came back and said he wants to call somebody. Like he was acting like maybe I'm a 5-year-old baby that you can intimidate. He does not know that I have actually led people. When I mean people, led people. So he was like trying to do his phone. In that moment, I'm like, you want to try to do? I just called 911. I was like, I dialed 911. That you think you can intimidate me? Not only did you physically harass and attack me in your car when I'm your client, you did not even think about my safety. You did not. So it was in that moment, he knew that this girl meant business. So people now also sensed that I'd already made the call. So they now took him somewhere and I was not explaining to him that, this thing don't change you, because if the cops come here, nobody's going to leave. And that's the truth. Nobody will leave and things like that. So long story short, he did not drive that bus. That's my own. He did not drive the bus. I had to stay in that position till we got back to Texas. But on the way, like, people were trying to analyze the whole situation. Some people were in my favor, some were against me, that I was rude. And I told the people should define what rudeness means. Because when somebody says something the first time, you say it the second time, you say it the third time, I just did not feel like that was joke anymore, because I felt it was singling me out. And maybe because it feels like I'm a lady or something, or maybe because of the incident that happened before. So I just wanted him to know that if not joke, I take it as a joke the first time, second time joke, third time joke. It's not a joke anymore. So I also wanted to sound it to him that, and it's the truth. There's no way you can send me to the back. It wouldn't have happened. I will not allow it. It's either everybody will not go back and will stay in that Atlanta and until something happened. And I'm glad that I came back and I still stayed in my position, because you cannot single somebody out for a service that you were paid for and still attack the person. Someone was not telling me that I should go and apologize. I say, apologize for what? If I apologize to him, then to mean that I am telling him that it is okay for him to lay his hands on any lady ever in his life. And I cannot do that, because I train girls, and I wouldn't want a man to do such. And apologize is, this mentality that we have as Africans. You have to be respectful. Respect your father and your mother. Anybody that knows me, I respect even the person that is my junior. But when you don't respect yourself, I will not. So if it was a case of maybe they said I was rude because I said you can't send me to the back, that is the rudeness, and that is the reason why he would lay his hands on me, to the point that even the leg is still paining me till now, then I cannot in my life, in the one to come, apologize to him. It will not be what will take me to hell. I will still go to heaven. So I just told them that they should please, because if this man had done it to them, they would have done the same thing. Or if the man had done it to their sister, they would have done the same thing. So they should not come and tell me what to do because somebody was trying to be mean, or not just that was not being mean. That's somebody trying to be that's somebody attacking me, and attacking not just me, a client of yours. So I just made it plain that more people should remove this Nigerian thing. Let's keep that Nigerian thing because this is the only thing that can happen in Nigeria. But if he came to the US to still do something like this, then I can never in my dreams even apologize to him. He should apologize to me. I cannot apologize to a man for laying his hands on a woman. Not today, not tomorrow, not in the life to come. So I just made it clear to them. Finally, one guy that was my closest friend from the trip now said, as we were going now, we're just talking, because when we were coming, it was bubbly. I was the life of the party. Some people were drinking. Me, I don't drink alcohol, but even with the soda I was drinking, I was just making it very, it was very bubbly. But after that incident, everybody mind your business, I'm on my own. We just went like that. So that guy now came and was still talking to me about, go and apologize and everything. I just told, even when we got to Houston, Texas, he still said, that I should just try. And I'm like, sorry, there are things that I can do. There are things, assuming he did not lay his hands on me, I will kneel down in the crowd, in the center of the road, and say, sir, I am sorry, even when I know that I'm not sorry, just for peace. But you see, the moment he left his sitting position, the driver's seat, opened that door, came to where I was, even when he knew that I had my seatbelt on, and attacked that on. You just forget it, because I will not. So finally we left, and then I called Uber, and finally I came home. And I felt, on our way back, I had to get a balm because it was my leg was swollen. I couldn't really walk, and it was bruised too. I took some photos, and finally when I got home, I felt like maybe after a day or two the thing would go. I mean, this is March 31st, I'm filming this, and I'm still having that pain. It's still very serious. I'm even thinking I might need to see a doctor because my ankle, there's some swell there. Is this swell or it's swollen? So I really feel like so much pressure or something. I don't know what they call it, but it's swollen there. So I feel sometimes when I want to squat, I can't squat. It's that bad, my right ankle. So I've been having that pain. So that's my experience. So when you ask me, is it okay for you to use an agent to go and renew your Nigerian passport? It's not okay, I beg. If this is going to happen, and I cannot recommend him to anybody, I'm sorry. My passport has not arrived, and I don't think anything would cause my passport not to come to me, because I went to the embassy, and if it doesn't come, I'll call them. And if somebody wants to hold back my passport or anything, I know what to do. Is when the America that things work, the system works. So, so I'm just saying, if you can do it yourself, do it yourself. You don't need anybody to take you there. The only thing that made me do this was because they were not picking my calls and everything. And I regret using that man. I regret using him as his service. He was just so lousy. He does not know how to act. He does not know somebody that will get a bus and does not even have drivers to take us there. He does not care about somebody's safety, and he's a woman beater. Then I can't even mention him. But if you are in Texas, and you need his name should pop up. His service will pop up, and I would not recommend him. Even people in the car were still saying it when we were going, and he was driving the other car because he had to leave that bus and go drive the other bus, because I said, this is the bus I came with, this is the bus I'm going with. People were still saying that they cannot recommend him. And again, he was charging people different amounts. He will charge you 800, he will charge you 1,000. He will tell you that you will get your visa to next week or 2 weeks time, and then when you get to the Nigerian consulate, they will tell you are getting it the same time, like 2 months time. So imagine the things that happen. Even the pastor too, same thing. They told him and the other guy that paid so extra because he wanted an expedited passport, almost lies. So I know business is business, but when you are lying left, right, and center, and you don't even take into consideration that this is business for you, and referrals and your customers are key, they are gold to the sustenance of your business, and you treat people anyhow, then you have not even started any business. And that mentality of Nigeria that he brought back to the US into his business will not make it, because it's just so, imagine everybody not wanting to recommend him or refer family and friends to him. How would you then grow? tomorrow. So that's my experience. So please, I would never advise you to maybe use an agent for other things, or maybe use a different agency but not his agency, because I mean, I really don't know. Do you know, he did not even bother to, he did not even reason what he has done. Maybe he was thinking because, oh, this girl is young, she does not deserve an apology. He did not even know that he has actually hurt somebody physically, you know, or even made me feel unsafe being around him. He did not even think about that. He did not even think, oh, that what he did that time has even made me, affected me, like my leg is still hurting me. And you want me to go back there or apologize what? So guys, so this is the end of this video. I did not know it was going to be this long. In fact, I'm sorry, but I just needed to share my experience. I hope you guys have learned a thing or two. If you're going to use somebody like that, ask these questions. Are you going to get a driver? How are we going to go? Is there a sitting position? There was nothing like COVID measures. Everybody was sitting together, congested, nothing like that. So know the person you are going to use as an agent. Know what his services entail. Know if he's charging you a different amount from the other person. Know why he's doing that, and just ask all the questions you need to ask. And also ask if you are going to be asked to pay another money after the first initial payment that you have been told. So also figure all of those things out, and when you are comfortable, then you can proceed. If not, do it yourself. So guys, I hope you learned something. So I just want to end it here. Please subscribe to my channel. If you watch to this very part, you are the real OG. You are the real OG. Please let me know in the comments. Just say I am the real OG when you get to this part in the comments, so that I know that you actually watched this very part. So guys, that's it for today, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, I remain valeenovarah, and I pray to never give up, and I hope that you do the same. Bye guys.